Okay, so I wanted to do kind of a weekend catch up, and I know that one of the hot topics, and it's very unfortunate. I have friends that horse was in the Derby that said this is so bad for our sport. You know, there's talks that what was the horse's name? That was
Bob Baffert's horse?
Bob Baffert.
Well, I don't. All I remember, truthfully, is because as the gambler in me, I don't even remember the horse's name. I just know that Bob Baffert is the Tom Brady of horse racing.
Robert Kraft, yeah.
Because you never bet against him, and I should have known better. And no matter what horse Bob has in the race, whether he's a long shot or not, put your money on him. So, anyways, okay, so yes, the horse who won the Derby.
Yeah, but they're now saying he tested positive. Oh, thank you, Ryan. Is it Medina? Medina Spirit? Yeah, Ryan's the best. I love the chat.
For those of you listening, it's our producer telling us information that I should have known called Medina Spirit. You know why? Because I don't remember things that I lose. So there you go. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So potentially tested positive for steroids. I know there's another test coming out. Got to be honest, don't know the specifics, but I was dying to ask you, Charissa, for everybody that placed bets, how is that affected? But you said you didn't know, right? But I know this leads into a story that you love about betting at the Derby.
Yeah, so I do know that it just in general in gambling, like for example, like if you bet on the Astros to win the World Series, no one's coming back and getting money from them, right? Or if you bet on a certain player to, hit so many home runs and they're tested positive for PED, you don't go and get your money back. It is what it is. So same holds true then for horse racing. But you and I were talking before we started about when I went to the Derby a few years ago, and Larry, David and I, we went with like a group because I got Larry into horse racing because Larry needed a hobby and like something to like, he's competitive, but like also is very reclusive and like doesn't like to like leave his house ever. He was like COVID before COVID, right? Like he didn't like to go anywhere.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah.
And so
by the way, I get it. I don't want to leave my house either.
I mean, now I'm that person and I don't want to leave. Yeah. So I've went the opposite direction. But so in order to like get him to like, I don't know, get out and do things, we went to Santa Anita. So we went to the racetrack and that got him into horse racing. Then we went to Vegas. He got even more into horse racing. And so it culminated in a trip to the Derby. So we go and so he's like, how does this all work? I was like, we're going to go up to the window. You place your bets. You say like, I want $20 to win, place, or show is first, second, third. So I want $20 to win on horse number 5.
Okay.
So we go up, we place our bets, and the guy that's at the window recognizes that it's Larry. And he goes, oh my God. Like he does his like, whatever, the whole like reaction everybody like gives to Larry. And Larry can't be bothered. He's like, yeah, focus. Or you're not focusing. We want this, we want this. And so finally the guy like prints off the tickets and he's like, you got him right. Are you sure you got him right? And the guy's like, yeah, I got him right. So we go, there's a lot of races leading up to the actual Derby race.
It takes forever.
Forever. So we have our tickets in hand. We're so excited for like the actual like race to happen. Horses are going around, final stretch, chariots of fire, dun, 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 the whole thing. Our horse wins. Always Dreaming, 2017 Kentucky Derby winner. I'm like screaming, Larry's screaming. We're so excited. We won. He looks down at the ticket and he goes, yeah, we don't have the ticket. I'm like, what do you mean we don't have the ticket?
Oh my God.
So at this point, there's
right out of curb.
There's tickets everywhere all over the floor because from all the previous races, when people lose, they just rip them up and then throw them on the floor. He's on the ground, dirty ground, on the ground looking for the ticket. I'm like, what the hell? He's like, the guy didn't give us the ticket. So when the race is over, you go up to the window to like cash your ticket in, right? And get money. He cuts the line, Erin. It is so like from an episode, which I don't watch the show, but you tell me to. He cuts the line. By cutting the line, Tom Brady, Big Papi, like all these people. Big Papi is like, do you do a Big Papi voice?
Hey, Larry, what is happening?
Yeah. So that's literally what he's saying. And Larry goes, the guy didn't give me the right ticket. So he goes up to the guy and he starts screaming at him. He's like, I knew you weren't paying attention. I knew it all along. He goes, check the tape. And I'm like, oh my, at this point, like, the race is over.
Like the video, the security footage. Check that tape. Yeah.
He gets the manager out. The manager's like, it's going to take us a long time to check like what bets were made. Mind you, the bet was for like $20. Like it wasn't even a lot of money, but it was the principle that Larry was like, I knew he wasn't paying attention. We won. We should get our money. And he created such a scene to the point where like now everyone's filtering out of, Churchill Downs, and we're like standing there, and I'm standing there against the wall waiting for the manager to check the tape. And so I'm like, Larry, let's just go. And he goes, no, this is ridiculous. Anyways, needless to say, we never got our money for that. But I also I lost this year on the Derby. I was so mad. But again, when in doubt, don't bet against Bob Baffert.
Hold on. So they look at the footage?
No, because I wouldn't let him, because it would have taken forever to comb through like all the nonsense, like needle in a haystack, whatever. And I'm like, let's go. But it was the point that it was all just so very Larry-esque and leading up to it. And like only we would have like the ticket that didn't get printed when we were supposed to. And I was like, whatever. So yeah, that's our story for that. But we had a good time.
All of you Curb fans right now, I know you can hear it in your head.
I mean, I swear. But my favorite was Big Poppy's voice, where he was like ready to be like, what can I do to help Larry, in like his sweet little voice. Yeah.
Side tangent about Big Poppy, one of my favorite athletes ever, and one of the best guys out there. But I love Poppy, and he talks about how he learned to speak English from the Dominican, and I think he had said it was from television. Well, it must have been an R-rated channel, because I love my man, but he says the F word, like the word the. So everything is like, hey, Poppy, like, what do you think the keys to playing against the Yankees? Well, you know, whatever the fuck you think you got to do. You like, everything is like, fuck. So it's like, oh my God. So he's probably like, yo, Larry, what the fuck, you know?
No,
like,
I guarantee it was that. Yeah. But also, isn't that reminds me that didn't Giselle say that she learned how to speak English by listening to Boys to Men?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I feel like that's how I would, if I'm going to learn another language, it would for sure be music. Right? Like, wouldn't that be the easiest way?
What station? Hip Hop Nation?
Well, obviously, which would then merge the two together. A lot of profanity and a good time, I guess, is what we're getting at here. So, yeah. So, this brings me back to that discussion of when people say, are horses athletes? What do you think? Do you think horses are athletes?
I got to be honest. I don't know how to feel about this. I don't even know how to feel about watching the Derby, because I love it. I love the buildup. I love the stories about the jockeys and their families, and I'm crying, and everybody, you know, we're back here in Lexington, or are we in Lexington? Where are we? Louisville. And I'm so excited. And then they're like getting whipped and stuff, and I get upset. So I don't know how to feel. And
these
I don't know how to feel about
taken care of, but beyond measure.
Yes.
Okay. So like I wish they had their nutritionist. I say they are athletes for this exact reason.
Too.
Bringing it back to the PED thing. If this proves true, right, that he took PEDs, well, then they're under the same rules as an athlete.
Yeah.
Right? Like if we're having, I don't know, I just feel like because they're not human. I mean, like they're participating in a competitive event.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's the same thing as like NASCAR. When people are like, oh, NASCAR drivers aren't like athletes. The car's doing the work. I'm like, have you ever driven in a NASCAR? Because I have. And that shit is hard. We did
and
that
hold your bathroom for that long.
And that left turn, that left turn, obviously. We did a NASCAR immersion. Did you ever have to do that at ESPN?
No.
I had to do it. And it's like, it takes a lot of stamina.
Yeah.
To sit in that car for hours and hours and hours. Anyways, there's so much we could say about this. But that's why we have a podcast. I guess that's why we're talking about it. But good news, everybody. 2 things to take away from this conversation. One, you will always keep your money, no matter if the athletes cheated, or in this case, the horse athlete cheated. And remember to always check your ticket at the race before the race happens.
Keep your ticket. Have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The guy never gave it to us because he was distracted.
I'm dying to know where that damn ticket was. Wait, really fast.
I don't think he ever printed it. Was Larry's point, because he wasn't paying attention. Larry maintained like, because we had a stack of like all these tickets, and so he was like, he never printed that one. Yeah.
But do you really believe that, Charissa?
Yeah, I believe that I know, because I was standing there and the guy was like losing his mind and wasn't paying attention, which was Larry's point. Like, are you concentrating on the task at hand? I appreciate that you like my show and you want to talk about episode 12, but you're not paying attention to your job. And we missed out on the $20 that Larry didn't need.
Yeah, totally. And I think the best part about it is there are so many stars and athletes at the Kentucky Derby, and the one person that everybody loses their shit over for is Larry David. It just is.
Yeah.
Tell the Tom Brady story in the elevator, please.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay, so anyone that's been to the Derby, there's like one nice hotel you can stay at. And I say this lovingly. It ain't like the nicest, but it's the hotel where everyone stays. Okay.
Yep.
So we get in the elevator's packed. And it's that moment where you don't know, like, should we wait for the next one, or are we getting in? Is everyone going to be okay if we like suck it in and like, everyone moves in? So Larry, who hasn't thought about any of this, he just goes into the elevator, and I'm like, okay. And we turn around, and all of a sudden, so we're facing the doors and like up against the doors, and I hear this sultry, like Tabasco vanilla whiskey voice go, "Hello, Larry." And I was like, I turn around, and the sex pot that was Tom Brady in sunglasses and a Nick Phuket hat. And I was like, holy shit, I've never thought this guy's hotter. And Larry goes, Tom, hi. And looks back at the elevator doors and says nothing else. And like we walk out, and like Larry does this like shuffle. Doesn't even like, and so then like Tom comes up and like continues whatever, talking to him or whatever. But I think why everyone loves Larry is because Larry can't be bothered, whether it's Tom Brady, Jeff Bezos, Big or anyone in between. He's like, did you print the ticket or not? So.
Oh, it's so good. Calm Down with Erin and Charissa is a production of iHeartRadio.
For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.